Good morning, Stahls TV viewers. I'm Jenna with Stahls TV, and welcome to Heat Printing Foil 2.0. In today's class, we're going to be going over what seems to be an apparel decoration sensation, and that is incorporating foil into your designs for whatever market you're decorating for. Now, I want to point out that this is a part 2, and there is another live class that we did with Josh Ellsworth. So in this class, we're going to be incorporating a lot of mixed media, but if you're just getting into heat printing foil, be sure to check out that class as well. Some of the things we're going to be mixing with foil is our full color HTV, glitter flake, screen print transfers, flock, sublimation, neon heat transfer vinyl, and also a few other ways to decorate with foil and foil only. Okay, so I want to touch base before we get on to all the fun stuff and do some hands-on decoration. We're going to be working with a lot of different platens and interchangeable heat presses. Before we get there, I want to point out that foil is a huge trend in the apparel decoration industry. You're seeing it in Gap and Justice for kids. Kohl's is another huge one for a lot of graphic tees that are incorporating foil, and huge name brands like Nike and Under Armour. So if you want some inspiration aside from Stahls TV, those are some other ones to check out, see how they're using it and incorporating it into their designs while they're using other materials as well. So I'm going to head over to the Max Press. We're going to start there with our screen print transfers. We're going to be showing 8 different styles today using mixed media. So let's get started. Okay, so over here at the Max Press, you can see I have a heat printing pillow laid down on my 16 by 20 platen. And I want to point that out because the garment that we're going to be using today has a lot of seams, and it has a pocket as well that's pretty high up. So you can see the seam drops pretty low as well as the pocket. So we're going to want to use our heat printing pillow to get a nice flat surface on there. So I'm going to place this down and lay down my hoodie on top of the platen. So we don't have to worry about threading this because all of the seams that are on the platen right now are going to push down into the pillow and leave the area where we're printing nice and flat. Okay, so we're using a screen print transfer from Transfer Express. This is goof proof. So we're going to apply this at 365 degrees for 4 seconds. Just make sure everything's set up over here. Okay, we're good to go. So I'm just going to press down, making sure I'm using a firm pressure. That pops right up, and goof proof is a hot pill, so you can go ahead and peel the transfer back immediately. Now I'm going to apply my foil in certain places just to make an accent. So I'm going to put 2 strips down on the top of this. And since we have some of our screen print exposed here, I'm going to go ahead and grab my cover sheet to make sure nothing gets on the top of my heating element. So place that down nice and gently, and we're going to apply this for 10 seconds. So just adjust that real quick. All right, and we want to use a firm pressure again, so we'll keep our pressure the same. And it's going to count down to 10 seconds. Now, foil is a cold pill, so while I'm waiting for that to cool down, I'm going to flip over to the other side of the hoodie and do another placement just to add something a little extra to the design or to the garment. So I can go ahead and flip this over, and I'm just going to be pressing the back lower seam just to add a little more customization for the school mascot that we're decorating for, which happens to be the bear. So we're going to take our bear paw that came with the other transfer. So this is the same. It's going to be goof proof, and I'm just going to lay that in the back corner and make sure everything's flat there. Now I can fill my pocket through the back. So I'm just going to move this up a little bit and choose a different placement. So I'm going to move it up to the top here so that it's not uneven there for me. So I can go ahead and apply this for 4 seconds, drop my time back down. And again, goof proof is a hot peel, so we can go ahead and pull that back. And we're just going to lay our foil right on top and press that for another 10 seconds. Okay. All right, so we're gonna wait for this to cool down a little bit, and since I did just directly flip this over, I wanna wait for the front pieces of the foil to cool down as well. So I'm gonna bring this over to the table with me, lay it here, wait for it to cool down, and we can move on to our next project. While we're mixing in between, I'll go ahead and rip these off so you can see that finish. Okay, so the next thing that we're gonna be showing is foil adhesive. So foil can stick to either screen print or also a CAD-CUT adhesive that we offer. So I'm going to start by loading on my next garment and show you a really neat trend that was inspired by one of our customers actually. So I can go ahead and load this on, and you can see that here I'm a little it's hard to work with these seams here. So this platen is completely interchangeable. So I'm going to twist this, and I don't actually have to change my platen out. The only thing I have to do is spin this the other way and lock that back into place. So we have it a little easier to work with here with the seams. Okay. So I'm going to start by placing my adhesive down first, and this is going to go down for 5 seconds at 300 degrees at a light pressure. So we're going to place that right in the center, grab our cover sheet, and make sure we're at the right time here. So we'll drop this down to 5 seconds. Okay. Okay, so I can go ahead and swing that out of the way. Remove my cover sheet. I'm going to set that to the side real quick, and I'm just going to go ahead and pull this carrier back. It's a hot peel. So as soon as you press it, you can go ahead and peel that back. And I had mentioned earlier that we're showing you a new way to apply foil that was inspired by one of our customers who shared that with us. We shared it on the morning show a couple weeks back, and what she did was take a bunch of triangular foil pieces and lay it down on a solid animal head. And this creates something that is a huge trend right now in the apparel decoration industry, and that is geometric shapes. So being that these are all in triangles, these are all going to show up geometric. So we'll go ahead and lay each piece down. And you don't have to worry about covering each spot. So don't worry about making it a puzzle piece and having to make sure everything's covered up, because we're going to go back in with a large sheet and make sure that we have that all applied. And it looks like I might not have to do that. I have enough pieces here. So we can go ahead and finish that. But if you didn't want to have to lay all of these pieces down individually, you wouldn't necessarily have to do that. You can go back in with a larger sheet of foil, and that will cover up any pieces that may have been left out that weren't covered. Okay, so we're good there. Going to add an extra piece down here. So I can go ahead and grab my cover sheet, and I'm going to apply these pieces of foil at 300 degrees for 10 seconds. It's going to drop my temperature here again. Not sure why it keeps going up to 45. Looks like someone may have been working with some sublimation. Okay. All right, so this is 10 seconds, so I can go ahead. I want to make sure this is at a firm pressure, so I'm going to go ahead and tighten my pressure knob up here and tack this down. Okay, so I can carefully go ahead and remove my cover sheet. Going to leave everything lay on there the way it is, because I'm going to be personalizing the lower hemline of this shirt. So all of this can stay because we're going to wait for that to cool down. And I'm just going to drop it far enough so that my seam is laying off of the platen. And I'm going to grab my next piece of personalization. So we are decorating for the Lorem City Bulls. So I'm going to add this down to the bottom and press that. This is 5 seconds, light pressure. So I can go ahead and peel that carrier back now and lay down my next sheet of foil. Okay. And again, 300 degrees at 10 seconds, firm pressure, sorry about that. Now, if you're working with one of these presses, if you're looking for the difference between light pressure and firm pressure, for light, you're gonna look to have it at 1, 2, or 3, and for heavy pressure, you wanna look for 7, 8, or 9 to have that at. Okay, so the top half of our garment here should be finished, so it's just a matter of ripping these all off since it's all finished. Okay. You don't have to be gentle. Everything that the foil is touching is the adhesive, so it's all going to be adhered on there where it needs to be. So just rip these off. Okay, it looks like everything else is adhered other than this piece. So you can see just how cool having a geometric shape like this is. A very hot trend in the apparel decoration industry. So now that that is cooled down, or now that that's all peeled off, this is cooled down, so we can go ahead and peel this back, and you can see the personalization down at the bottom. So I'll turn around this to the big screen so you can get the full effect here and how neat that would look with someone wearing that. So you can see why this is something you would want to offer to your customers. It's stuff that they're seeing out there in the large stores. It's stuff they like, something they want to buy. So being a decorator, this is something you want to incorporate into your designs as well. And you can really get creative with this stuff. So we're going to go ahead back over to our heat press shot, and I'm going to peel the foil from the first design off. So you can go ahead and peel that back. So you can see just incorporating a little bit of foil with the rest of the screen print transfer. Screen print transfers are a very popular finish. You're seeing it a lot in retail as well. It's just a very sought after look. So being able to add foil to it is the ultimate trendy garment that you could be offering to your customers. Okay, so now we have a foil effect with adhesive and a foil effect with screen print transfers. So now I want to show you an effect that we're doing with full color digital transfers. And we're going to be doing this on a neoprene iPad case. And the first thing I need to do is put my heat printing pillow down so that my zippers and whatnot don't get in the way of me getting an even pressure here. So I'm going to be applying a product called Stop, and it is a full color digital. This is something that we printed out on our BN20, the Roland BN20, and you can get this if you have the printer, or you can order this through Stahls if you're looking for just a transfer. So we're going to grab our cover sheet. We don't want our zippers to be touching the heat element. We don't want to scratch that up. This is going to apply at 300 degrees for 5 seconds. I need to adjust my pressure here since I added the pillow. So this is going to apply for 5 seconds. And you can, depending on any fabrics that you're working with, you might get into synthetic fabrics. Stop can be dropped down to as low as 285. So you don't have to worry about any type of fabric scorching or anything like that. Okay, so we have that applied. We're going to tack it for an additional 5 seconds. So I'll go ahead and do that before I apply my foil on there. Okay. Now we're going to drop in our CAD-CUT adhesive, the same product that we just used on the bullhead garment. Okay, now this applies for 5 seconds. Now, I want to point out also, since this applies for 5 seconds, what I could have done after peeling the Stop carrier back was just drop this in and did it for 5 seconds, and that would have set that for me. So technically, to speed up the process, you can just drop that in and adhere that while also pressing the Stop for a second time. I'm going to drop this to 5 seconds. And go ahead and peel that carrier back and drop in my foil for an additional 10 seconds. And I know I'm moving pretty quickly, so if you guys have any questions, feel free to chat them in. I can go ahead and answer those. Do we have any right now, Karen?
Both of the questions are about foil application. In both instances, one of the viewers' problem is with the foil flaking off, and they want to know whether the problem is pressure or heat, and another one, what would prevent the foil from sticking to the garment itself rather than the adhesive?
Okay, so what's preventing the foil from sticking to the garment is the foil has to have an adhesive to stick to, or an ink to stick to. So the adhesive is essentially working as a glue for that foil whenever it's heated up. So as soon as it gets under that heat application, it's going to heat up enough so that the foil sticks to that and only that. Now with the foil flaking off, I just want to confirm, is that happening during wash, or is it happening like right after the application? Okay, so it's flaking off when you touch it. Okay, so I'm going to say it has to do with pressure. You want to make sure your foil is at a firm pressure. If your foil was at a firm pressure and you know that to be exact, then you want to double check the garment you're applying to. For instance, we were showing foil at our recent trade show and we were putting it on a glitter tee. And that glitter in the fabric, because it's woven in there with it, is not letting the foil adhere to it correctly, and it was tending to flake off on the edges and things like that. So just double check the garment that you're applying it to and make sure at all times that when you're applying foil that it's at a firm pressure. Does that cover all the questions? Okay, great. So this is all cooled down. We can head back over to the press camera here and go ahead and peel this back. Okay. So this is new for me and for you guys too. This is Stop. This is something that I just decided to show for this class, and it looks like our foil is adhering to the Stop. So that's something new and something that we might have to start testing. I'm glad this happened in this class so that you guys could see this too. So our adhesive was in the middle and our Sublimation was off in the center. So what we're going to have to do is test this in the wash. We'll see if this foil is going to last on the Sublimation because it might not have enough adhesive. It might be because there's ink on our transfer there, but I'm very interested in testing this out. So I will keep you up to date with how the Sublimation worked out. But that's new to us as well. But you can see that you can do this with full color transfers. We have done it with Express Print. I wanted to try Sublimation to see if it worked well with that, and it looks like it transferred onto that as well. So we'll go ahead and move on to our next project. Before I do that, I want to go ahead and increase the temperature on my max press. We're going to be working with sublimation here and a few more applications and garments that we're going to be showing you. So I need to make sure my press is at 380 degrees for 45 seconds. All right, so we have that all set up. Okay. So the next trend that we're seeing with foil is something called split text. And what this does is take a text, and I'm going to go ahead and switch my platen out here as well. But what it does is take a graphic or logo and split the graphic in the center or the center of the text and make it sort of like a color block. So color block is a very popular trend in garment styles. But if you don't have a garment that has color block, which is two colors, just some in one section and another color in the other. I don't have a garment in here for me to reference, but you'll see what I mean when I apply this. But so we're taking a garment that's not color block and we're going to give it a color block effect, which is very popular in the apparel decoration industry. So we'll go ahead and apply this. Gonna have to increase my pressure since we adjusted our platen. It's at 5 seconds. Okay, so I can go ahead and peel that back. And we're gonna take 2 strips of foil and lay them down right in the center. So we want to make sure we have a pretty even cut so that it turns out that it's right in the center. And do the same with the other piece. So what this effect that it's giving it is 2 colors on just one piece of adhesive. So we'll go ahead and apply this. Let me grab my cover sheet first. Okay, so we're at 10 seconds. Okay. Looks like the foil fell off a little bit. So you have to be careful whenever you're laying your carrier sheet down. Let's lay that down gently. Need that at a firmer pressure for the foil. And it's going to count down 10 seconds for us. Okay. We're just going to wait for this to cool down. This is actually a really cool garment that we're seeing here. It's from J America. It's a poly fleece and it has a really nice heathered texture to it, which is a very popular product. So being able to utilize popular garments with popular finishes really helps with finding new customers and decorating for current customers, being able to always offer them something new. So we'll go ahead and peel these back and you can see the really cool effect that it gives that. So you can see the red and silver. The red on red is really cool. It gives it that tonal look. But it also shows up very well when the light hits it and gets that reflective to it, or that mirror image to it. Okay, so we're going to keep moving along here. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to be pairing together is glitter and foil. And I chose to do this for a cheer team or any type of spirit market like Greek or dance. It would work very well with. So I'm just going to change out my platen since I'm working with a slim fit tank top. Okay, so we're going to load this on. So this is exactly what I was talking about whenever I was talking about color block. So you're going to have like a full heather or white or whatever color it may be for the front and back, but the sleeves or the hemlines are going to be a different color just so that you have a contrast color to base your images with. That's a very popular style. So going along with that, for these particular pieces that I chose to use for this, I went with silver glitter flake and purple foil to match the garment. So I'm going to go ahead and apply our adhesive first. And the reason we're applying our adhesive first is because glitter flake has a raised effect on there. So if the glitter flake was down first, we really wouldn't get an even pressure to apply this at. So I'm going to be lining this up on the side, but I want to make sure that my design is going to fit up on there perfectly. So just going to drop in each piece just to make sure we're going to be lined up right. All right, looks like we're good. Okay. So we're going to apply our first piece of adhesive here. Always adjust your press after you change a platen, unlike myself. Need a firmer pressure than that, okay. Okay. So we can go ahead and remove our carrier just like we did with all the other ones. It's a hot peel. Getting a little repetitive here. And I'm going to go ahead and drop in my foil piece here. We want to make sure we do the foil before we apply the glitter flake. You don't want to ruin the adhesive that's on there. So we'll do that for 10 seconds. And I'm going to double check for any questions I may have. Are there any coming in, Karen? Okay. Okay, so you're going to wait for that to cool down a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and move to the back of my tank top. So I'm just going to slide this around, find my center here. I'm going to be pressing a monogram on the back. So this isn't for any specific person. This is just going for the school. So keep in mind if you're doing schools and you're doing it for a spirit team such as cheerleading or dance, monograms are a very popular item to be pressing. So I'll go ahead and apply my adhesive there. Put our foil down. 10 seconds, 300 degrees, firm pressure. Well, we gotta wait for that to cool down. Now that we have the back done, this should have cooled down by now. So we'll go ahead and peel that back and start to lay in our glitter flake. Okay, so we'll drop in our glitter artwork here. And our cheer. Now, I just want to point out these registration marks are very important if you're going to be doing mixed media with foil. So a lot of our heat transfer vinyls tend to shrink if they're put under a lot of heat. So whenever you're grading your artwork, be sure to put a gap outline in there and just be able to drop in your text so that you don't have anything happening where your text doesn't fit in. Now I want to point out I applied glitter flake for 2 seconds. The reason being is that you can see a little fine line there, which is the carrier mark from laying cheer down in there. So just to get rid of that, I tacked it for 2 seconds so that I could peel away the carrier, and I'm going to tack it again for its full application, which is 10 seconds. This will actually keep the glitter that is left over on the carrier, which I'll show you here in a second. So you can see on this carrier there's glitter left over on the carrier. If that's applied over another heat transfer material directly for its full application, the glitter will actually stick into the foil or smooth heat transfer vinyl, for instance. Okay, so we can go ahead and twist this over, pull our foil back, and just dropping in a small circle here to complete the monogram. Okay, so we'll grab our cover sheet since our foil is still exposed, and again we're just going to tack this for a quick 2 seconds so our carrier mark isn't left in the foil. Hoping you guys can see where that left a mark. And we're just going to do it for the full application, 10 seconds. Okay, so that is complete, and you can see, we'll switch over to the big cam here so you can get the full effect. So you can see pairing foil and glitter flake into designs and using the colors in the color block garment, how much it matches up and everything, and how nicely that pairs. And you can really see why a cheerleader or a dancer would want to wear something like this. It's flashy, it's glittery, and it fits that market perfectly. So if you're decorating for that market, keep that in mind. Okay. So we're moving on to the last stretch here. I'm going to be pairing adhesive and neon for this one. And again, I'm working off of the neon that's in the garment. We can go ahead and switch to our press view here. I'm just going to load this on the 11 by 15. Make sure everything's centered up and no seams are on the platen. And going to again apply my adhesive first. Now, since we're working with another color, I want to drop that in just to make sure I'm gonna have enough room to work with my other pieces. So it looks like this is dropping in right here. Let's get it a little straighter. There we go. Okay, so it looks like we're at good room there. So I'll apply this for its application. Now I want to point out, you can kind of see the seam is up on there from the pocket, but since we're working up far enough, we don't have to worry about there not being even pressure. Drop our foil in there. 10 seconds. Increase my pressure. All right, looks like we have some questions.
Where was the purple and gray tank top purchased from that you pressed in the last application?
Let me double check. All right, so it looks like Cavio. So Cavio is a wholesale supplier. You can find them online. They have a lot of cute stuff, such as fringe tanks that are very popular for the boho chic market. We're seeing a lot of stuff for, so be sure to check them out for other styles of garments also. Now we're just waiting for the foil to cool down. You can see I'm fanning it off a little bit. It helps to speed up the process if you find a cool area, such as the table that we're using to keep the press on. If we just want to pop that on there for a little bit, it'll cool it down a little faster. Okay, and we can go ahead and pull that back. And we're going to drop in our neon piece now. All of this artwork was created on CAD-Works Live. It's a free artwork program online, has a lot of clip art and templates that you can use. You can import your own clip art and templates, and you can also use it directly from the internet. So you don't have to worry about downloading anything. It'll send directly to your cutter. Through Vector Cut, which is something that comes with it as well. So we're working with Premium Plus here. I'm going to increase that to 8 seconds. And since we're hitting the foil for a second application, you're going to see that the foil is going to lose its mirror-like finish. So you can see that it has matted up a little bit. So whenever we remove our Premium Plus, gonna wait for that to cool just a tad. Premium Plus is a warm peel. I'm gonna hit it one more time just to remove that Mylar carrier mark that you can see coming into our foil right there. And really, you only need to do this for a couple seconds. It's just tacking it enough to really, it's kind of working like a wrinkle on a shirt if you were ironing it. It's just gonna get that out of there the same way. Okay, so neon and foil are a very popular thing to pair, especially if you're working with a garment such as this one that incorporates the neon in the hood and the strings. This is another garment from J America. So you can check out, this comes in a lot of other colors. It has a heathered finish in it. You can see it didn't scorch the garment. There's no heat press box or anything. So using heather garments for that works very well. Okay, so it looks like we can head over to the max press. Looks like we're heated up over there. We're going to be doing our sublimation. So let's head over there and I can show you how this process is done. Now, if you guys are checking out Project Press It, this is another one that we did. This is a full color graphic that you're seeing, and that's done with sublimation. It gives it a nice picture image, and being able to incorporate the foil around the edges of that, it's perfect for anything. I mean, you would see in PacSun or anything that offers graphic tees like this. So that's something we're going to be doing here. So we can go ahead and load on our garment. Now, whenever you're choosing a garment for sublimation, you want to make sure that it is 100% polyester. It's a light colored fabric, so anything that's pastel or just plain white works just fine. And you also want to make sure that it is sublimation friendly. I had a polyester hoodie that I was going to use for this class, but it ended up scorching too much under that high heat. We're going to be applying our sublimation transfer at 385 degrees. I had a 100% polyester white hoodie, and it actually turned yellow from being under the heat too much. So be sure to find something sublimation friendly. We picked these up from Vapor Apparel, so just find something that's not going to scorch under that high heat. So I'm just going to lay my sublimation transfer down, get it as center as possible. I want to make sure I'm a few inches down from the collar, so I'm just going to use my 4 fingers here and put them underneath the hem of the collar and make sure my S is going to fall right there. Okay. All right. So we'll grab our cover sheets and apply this at 380 degrees to 390. Make sure you're using a firm pressure. And this is going to be for 45 seconds. So while we're waiting for that to count down, be sure to chat any questions that you may have while we're waiting for that. All right, looks like we have some questions, so go ahead.
One of the viewers wants to know what they can do to make sure that their foil is sticking evenly on their garment.
Okay, so if it's not sticking evenly, it means you probably aren't having an even pressure, or maybe the foil isn't flat enough. So just make sure you're always using a flat surface. If I'm not answering correctly, go ahead and chat in again and tell me what it's looking like. Is it wrinkled? Is it not adhering to everything properly? Like, is it coming out blotchy? So you can go ahead and pull that back. And I'm going to drop in our adhesive just to add a little more to it. So you can see this is very plain. So we're going to add a contour around that to apply foil to. Looks like I might have it on upside down, so make sure you're being careful there. Okay, and I just remembered that I'm still at the max press, and this is going to be too hot to apply adhesive to. So let's head back over to the Fusion, and we'll apply our adhesive over there. Sorry about that. Okay, just going to load this on there. Again, upside down. All right, so we're just going to try to line this up best you can with it being a translucent material. All right. I'm going to apply this for 5 seconds. Go ahead and remove that. We'll apply our foil on there. Cover sheet again. Now I created this design also in CAD-Works Live. Chose the piece of the image in there in hopes that it would look like a mascot on a basketball court. So that's why you're seeing a wood image with it looking like the mascot was etched in there, and then went based off of a Spartans high school and incorporated its school color around it just to add something a little more. And again, you know me, I'm all about multiple placements. So going to spin around to the back here and apply foil on the back as well. I want to point out why adding multiple placements is important to when you're decorating, and that is because it brings in more profit for you. The more areas you're printing on your garment, the more profit you're going to be able to make. So I'm just going to be going down the side here, making sure it's close to the bottom. Five seconds. And it looks like we're going to be going over our time today. If you have to step out from the live class, feel free to do so. This is being recorded and something we're going to be uploading to the site. We still have one more look to do after this one, so if you want to bear with me and wait for that one, we're going to be showing an embossed look with Flake. So feel free to log out if you need to, but stay if you want to see it. All right. All right, while we're waiting for that to cool down, we can go ahead and twist this around. Remove our foil there. So you can see how cool of an effect that gives it, being able to incorporate a picture image with a foil design around it. You can see how nice that shines also. Looks very cool. So we'll go ahead and spin back around. Our foil should be cooled down by now. You can go ahead and peel that back. And this brings me back to the question I was answering beforehand with it being uneven. If you're not waiting for this to cool down completely, that's going to leave it being uneven as well. So just make sure you're making sure it's completely cooled down to peel that off. So we'll flip to the other screen, show this finish here. You can see why a basketball team would want something like this if they're traveling a lot for away games and stuff like that. And if it's too girly for a basketball team, you can mat it up. It'll give the same effect as well by just hitting it by a second time. All right, so that brings us to our last application. We're going to be pressing on another J America garment, and this is actually a glow garment that we've been showing a lot recently. So you can see that I'm going to have a lot to work with here, especially with the zipper and this line where it actually is going to light up. So I'm going to need a press that has a lot of versatility, so I can unzip this and apply one side at one time and one side at another time. So I'm going to grab my scissors and trim up my design so it fits right on that zipper line very neatly. And you can see here that I'm cutting Flake and it's in black, so it's going to give it a nice tonal finish. This is very popular for markets such as urban wear or anything. Again, as you're seeing in retail, tone-on-tone effects are popular, and being able to incorporate foil as well. So we're going to do the same thing with our foil sheet here. We can go ahead and move this, or not our foil sheet, our adhesive sheet. Okay, so we're going to be applying our flock first and then doing an embossed look over top of it with the adhesive. So I want to keep my 11 by 15 on here, and what I'm going to do is drape this over on its side. So I need to unzip this. And just drape it so it's nice, flat, and even there. I'm going to tuck this under so it stays put. Make sure my sleeve's not on there. Okay. All right, so that hemline there is fine. We're not going to be working too close to that, so we won't have to worry about there not being an even pressure. Okay. So we're going to apply our flock. And wait for that to cool a little bit. While we're waiting for that to cool, we can go ahead and move to the other side. So what I'm going to do is zip this back up so that I know I'm getting it across the split front nice and evenly. So now that that's applied, I can grab my other side. Make sure we're on there nice and even. Unzip this again. And drape it over. Okay. We'll grab our cover sheets. Okay, so we'll move along to our other side here, remove the foil, and apply our adhesive over top of where the stars are laying. Okay. Now this is where the embossed effect comes in. So what we did was add a contour behind the original small stars and place the contour effect on top of them so that when we apply the foil, the flock is going to come through the adhesive, is very thick, and leave that embossed look. So make sure we're on there nice and even. Apply that for 10 seconds, or 5 seconds, sorry. while we're over here, we can go ahead and apply the foil. So I'll cut my sheet here so that I have enough for the other side. Ten seconds. And we'll move to the other side. And go ahead and peel our flock off. Lay our adhesive down. Okay, mistake made. All right, so I laid my adhesive down on top of my foil so you can see that that's stuck to the carrier. No problem. This should not adhere to the garment, and I can use this lower half to go over top of this. Just be careful where you're laying your foil and the way you're laying your adhesive down. All right, so we're going to drop this down on top of the stars. Five seconds. Add your foil. Seconds. Wait for that to cool. We can go ahead and go to the other side and peel the foil off there. I'm going to try to show you guys the embossed look that we're getting here with that foil laying in there and laying on top of the flock. So you can kind of see where it was indented, where the flock is laying down, and then you have your tone look with the black flock for the bee. So we'll go ahead and peel this back. And didn't line up that well, but you can see how nice of a finish that is, and it's great for the streetwear market. So this J America hoodie will actually light up from all the way around the zipper and all the way around the frame of the hood. So there's a little battery pack that comes with it. It lights up, matches the foil that was applied on here. So again, incorporating the garment with different colors of material that you're applying on here is a great way and a great tip for whenever you're decorating apparel. Okay, so that pretty much sums up our different foil applications that you can do for whatever market that you're reaching or whatever niche you have. Please remember to join us next week. Josh Ellsworth is going to be going over creating artwork in CAD-Works Live for your vinyl cutter. So I talked about CAD-Works Live today in this class, so be sure to join him to see how some of those things were created and different ideas you can come up with in there. Thanks so much for joining me today. See you next time.